Alright guys, welcome back. Leaf here. And welcome back to another one of my Fire Emblem Heroes videos, character review videos. Hope these have been helpful so far. And so I'm gonna try really hard to shorten the lengths of these videos. They tend to drag out a little bit too long at the later parts of the video, especially the parts involving custom skills and such. So I've come up with a slightly different format for that part later on. As always, anything said in this video will be of my own opinion. This is just a collection of thoughts and stuff I have on this character through my own experiences using her. So if you guys have your own opinions on this character and own experiences, please by all means share them with me, because I'll be very interested to know. Anyways, in this video I'll be going over her stats, role, strength and weaknesses, arena threats, units you should pair her up with, spoiler alert, basically everybody, skills and build ideas at the very end. So let's move on to the first part, her stats. Alright, so here are her stats. The blue numbers indicate her stats when it's a boon, and the yellow numbers are her neutral stats. The red numbers indicate her stats when it's a bane. So what I mean by all this is your Azura should have one of these blue stats, which is your boon, and one of the red stats, which is your bane, and the rest of the stats should be yellow, unless of course you have a all neutral Azura, in which case you won't have a blue or a red kind of thing. Alright, so let's see her roles. Right, so here's a list of her roles I think she's meant for. Taking a look at the stat numbers, we can say that her notable stats are her attack, her speed, and her resistance. Keep in mind that she is a dancer slash singer support kind of class unit first and foremost. So this impressive sort of top tier DPS stats to go with that kind of support thing is pretty amazing. I believe this is why she is so top tier. With her naturally high speed, she's one of the harder characters to get doubled in the game, just by like the speed thing. You gotta be 5 speed higher than her. She can still get doubled by skills that double. So anyways, with her high attack, she can definitely put up a pretty good fight as well. She is fragile though, so I think twice before letting her out on the front lines. Yeah. So let's see, strength and weaknesses. Let's move on. Here we go. So her strength and weaknesses, if you decide to keep her Sapphire Lance, which I would actually suggest. It's a pretty good weapon actually. It comes with Triangle Adept on it. She is a good tank and bait for red units, who will have a really hard time taking her out. Like I said, keep it. It's easier on the SP side of things as well. But yeah, if you decide to put Escape Route or Wings of Mercy on her, she can work as a teleporting, dancing, singing kind of support character, which is pretty cool as well. I'd suggest, I'd recommend Escape Route over Wings of Mercy, just because you get a little bit more versatility and your choice of targets. She does go about 50% HP after one round of fight or so. Or maybe 2 rounds. Well, it's not hard anyways. While teleporting, she can also choose to insert melee damage into a fight with her pretty significant attack stat, as long as it's not against a green unit. So yeah, say you got, I don't know, like 2 mages duking it out. What you might want to do is, instead of teleporting to your mage friend and dancing and singing for them, you might just teleport to them and just give the enemy mage a little stab, like a melee stab, because you have high attack power and mages have pretty low physical defense, so it kind of works that way too. So yeah, it's quite good. You get some choices. She does unfortunately get 1 round KO'd by neutral damage dealing units quite often, as her defense and HP are a little bit on the low side, as you can see right there. It doesn't help that blue, which is her neutral advantage color, happens to kind of hold a monopoly on brave weapons, like I don't know, like brave lances and like dire thunder and stuff. She could probably take some dire thunders. I mean, her resistance is pretty high, but you know what? I'd rather have my Julia or just like green guys take it, because they can handle it a little bit better. Yeah. So they double attack her regardless of her speed, which is unfortunate because her naturally high speed is kind of a countermeasure and her greatest source of survival that prevents her from getting doubled, which is how she gets by. But yeah, unfortunately there's nothing you can really do about against Brave Lance attacks. Not even Lance Breaker will help, because Lance Breaker will just mean you won't get quadrupled. And just on a side note there, if you get quadrupled, you're probably gonna die as well. So yeah, she's fragile, you know. Don't throw her in the front lines. Think of her songs and stuff, you know. So yeah, time for that spoiler part, the part where no one saw coming, right? Section regarding units that synergize well with a dancer singer class, right? Okay, here it is. And surprise, surprise, it's pretty much everybody. I mean, come on, who wouldn't really want an extra turn? And who would not benefit from an extra turn? So yeah, I think, you know, dancers and singers in general, they synergize really well with a lot of, you know, basically just everybody in the whole game really, except for maybe fellow dancers and singers, because you can't really stack the dance and sing onto the other dancers and singers. I guess they like their own little performance a little bit better than yours. Anyways, let's move on to the skills and build idea stuff. Alright, so this time around I've got 3 base builds here just to, you know, talk about, and maybe I'll bring up some stuff that comes to mind, and not kind of like fuck with the graphics a little bit while I talk, because it's kind of distracting, you know, for me and you guys. Mostly me, because I'm trying to talk and then trying to like move stuff. But yeah, so as I said before, it's recommended that you keep the Sapphire Lance on her. It comes with a built-in Triangle Adept, which makes you a Sacred Archdemon against anything red, but it turns you into like a little kid with his pants down against green units, which, well, with 20 defense and, you know, like 20-ish defense and 36 HP, she wasn't really gonna take much of a hit from those guys anyways. Especially since, you know, the most common green units that you run into in the arena are like fucking like Ninos and Julias and Hector and stuff like that. So Sapphire Lance or not, she was gonna die anyways if you take a hit from those guys. So yeah, keep it. I recommend keeping it, because it's one less threat you have to worry about. It makes you indestructible against red units most of the time anyways, unless you're facing like heaps of them. But yeah, keep it. If you really want to experiment and, you know, like maybe campaign against Triangle Adept Inequality or some bullshit, then I'd recommend going for the killer lance because you know, you'd have to sacrifice a 5-star Catria or a 5-star Peri for that, but it helps in the fact that it accelerates her special trigger cooldown by 1, which if you pair up a 2-turn cooldown special, it can make her sort of a monster in its own way, kind of thing, you know. But yeah, don't give her Brave Lance, just cause that -5 speed. Yeah, don't take away her chance of you know, not getting doubled. Just thank her for defense and HP. You don't wanna, you know, minus speed. Not good. So for the assist skill, you know, keep Sing. Why not? Let's move on from that. Her ultimates. I'd say use something with a low cooldown. So as you can see here, like the Moonbow and the Excition, however you pronounce that, you know, they're pretty good choices. It just comes down to preference and perhaps your IV sets, whether you pick the more offensive one or the more defensive one. You know, if you're confident that the offensive one, you know, like if you're confident that Moonbow is gonna be able to net you that KO and kill your enemy and prevent another round of combat, then by all means go for it. If your enemy is dead, they can't deal more damage to you, so it's good defense that way. But if you you know, you'd really take the shield one if you're worried about getting knocked out by blue units, because reduced damage from getting doubled by Brave Lance, it can help you out. You know, or if you landed yourself a minus attack IV Azura and you don't really have, you know, that confidence in KOing with a special kind of thing, then yeah, I'd probably go for the more defensive one, so you don't die and then you can get back to your singing kind of stuff. Anyways, Fury goes on her pretty well as a means of defense. She shouldn't really be in much combat. I think the most fights she can be in during a arena match is about two fights, I think. You probably take out one red guy and maybe you can break even and take out one blue guy. Keep in mind that she can only take one non-red hit and survive. She won't live through the next non-red attack. So if you want to be in more, you know, if you want to have your Azura in lots of fights, the only time that would happen is if your enemy's team is like all reds or something like that. But it's pretty rare that you're gonna run into teams like that. So yeah, her frailty coincides pretty well with Escape Route 3. So does Dance and Sing, and her amazing melee damage. You can teleport to any ally and dance, giving them an extra attack, or you can teleport between two mages duking it out, as I said before, and land an up close and personal melee strike. And they'll probably die from that because, you know, mages versus melee, if you get in range, then usually you win. The trick is getting in range, but yeah, with this teleporting thing, you'll have less trouble sometimes. If you foresee yourself making a makeshift Lucina sort of thing, like, cause she has high attack and high speed, then, you know, go with Dodging Blow and Desperation. You know, her speed and attack allows this to kind of work, although not as well as Lucina. But then Lucina can't dance or sing, so, you know, each to their own kind of thing. Like, you know, I wouldn't do it. She's kind of meant to be more support over DPS. It just mean, but you know, she can do DPS, but doesn't mean that you should really force her into it. But yeah. So anyways, Hone Attack works really well on her because your team always needs at least one buffer, if not more. The ideal characters to put these buffs on are your support characters. So this goes pretty well on her. you might want to consider Spur Attack if you want to make the most of her teleporting escape route style of gameplay, because Spur Attack will work as soon as you land beside your ally, whereas Hone Attack only works at the start of each turn, so you teleport next to your ally, doesn't kick in until the next turn. But I've got mine set with Hone Attack because yeah, I've already got another guy with Spur Attack and they stack, so why not? But yeah, it's up to you. Just keep in mind the upside and downside to both abilities kind of thing. Just work accordingly with that in mind. I guess that's about it for this video. I think I've successfully cut down the runtime significantly, maybe. That about wraps things up. So if you guys have, you know, some interesting ideas on Azura and what kind of skills you like to put on her and what kind of tactics you like using when you play, you know, like user, please comment below and share with me like your ideas and all that stuff, because I find that stuff to be interesting. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I hope this video helped you guys out, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.